Hello everyone and welcome to another video on Python programming. In this video we will be learning about the concept of lambda functions. Now a lambda function in Python is an anonymous function without a name. We usually use lambda functions whenever we want to create a function type object for a short period of time. A lambda function is defined using the lambda keyword. Like a normal function is defined using the def keyword, we define a lambda function using the lambda keyword. Also, the lambda function can take any number of arguments, but it can only accept one expression as a part of it. So think of a lambda function like a sort of a temporary function object that you create whenever you want to perform a particular task or object, but you don't want to give it a name, or you don't want to define a full-blown function and give it a name like that. So over here, I'm going to give you an example of a lambda function. Let's say that this lambda function takes in, let's call it x. And so you define the function, let's call it x, let's call it a lambda function using this keyword. Now we want, say, two parameters, right? We're saying, say, a and b, or two arguments, a and b. So we're going to pass two arguments, a and b, whenever we use this function, and we're going to perform some sort of an expression. Now let's write down a simple arithmetic expression for this. Once you've defined your arguments, just use a colon. Now over here we have our expression. So let's call it a plus b. So now we've created a lambda function called x, where we will pass two arguments, and the result will be the expression a plus b. A and b being the arguments we pass. So now let's print the result of, let's say we pass 1 and 3. So now we should get the result 4, right? Because a plus b is equal to 4. So we've passed a as 1, b as 3. Now let's execute this. As you can see, the result is 4. Similarly, you can pass any number of arguments. So we want to call some function x, let's say lambda function, maybe say a, b and c this time, and we want to do the product of these three arguments. So now when we check the result, let's say we're doing the product of 2, 4 and 6. So this should be 48, and when you execute this, you get 48, as you can see here. So these are two simple examples of a lambda function. Now I could have done this in a different way, where I could have defined some function x, and over here I defined that it takes in 3 parameters, and then you can define some, say, return. The function basically returns you a, product b, product c. But many a times you don't need to define a full function called x. You don't want to assign some function with this name. You just want to create a temporary or a short time anonymous function with some name just to perform a simple expression. And in that case, we can use lambda functions. That's an example, by the way. You can use lambda functions in multiple places. So let's move on now. Now, for the sake of this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how the sorted function works. And we're going to learn how the lambda function uses this sorted function, how they work together. So this will give you a clearer understanding of how we use the lambda function in our code. So to start off, sorted function returns a sorted list from the items in an interval. So you can have a bunch of, for example, numbers, and the sorted function by default will give you, will return you the list of numbers in an ascending order. Of course, you can also, using a parameter called reverse, you can return a list of numbers in the descending order. You can also do this for strings, characters. So if you give it a bunch of characters, say A, E, F, G in the alphabet, it will give you, if you use a sorted function, it will give you the characters. It will return it in an ascending or descending order depending on the parameter you give. So basically this the sorted function, the syntax is you use the keyword sorted, then you pass the iterable, which is basically some list or some tuple. Then you give it a key. So this key sometimes we don't need to give by default. If the iterable does not contain multiple items per object, for like if it's not a tuple of multiple objects, if it's not a list of tuples, for example, you don't need to give it a key. If it's a simple list of numbers, you don't necessarily need to give a key if you want to sort it. But yeah, a key is basically the parameter which we use to tell the sorted function that we want to sort based on something, which is going to be the key in this case. Finally, the third parameter is reverse, which basically just tells us that if we want to sort in the default ascending order, or If we say reverse true, then we will sort in the descending order. Now let's look at some examples. So I have this list over here, and I'm going to print this list. So this list is obviously a bunch of vowels, E, A, U, O, I, and this is not in the ascending order of the alphabet, right? Like we know it as A, E, I, O, U. If I print the sorted form of this list, it should give me A, E, I, O, U, a list with A, E, I, O in the ascending order. Sorry, yeah. So now as you can see, it's given me this list as you can see here. Similarly, if I gave it a string as you know is an iterable. It's a collection of characters. So if I use a sorted function on this, interestingly, it'll give me a list of these individual characters like P, Y, T, H, O, and N, but in the order that we want it to be in, which is the ascending order, of course. So if I print this, you can see it returns me the list with each character in the order that we wanted it to be in. Now you might notice, why does P come before H? That's because this is in uppercase. So what this does is, first it sorts all the uppercase characters, since there's only one, so it just places it in the first object of this list, and then it sorts all the lowercase characters that you see here. So yeah, moving on now. Now what if we wanted to say sort this in descending order? So we have this list, and now we want to sort this in a descending order. So in that case, we have to give the parameter reverse, and we have to assign the value true. So once we do this, now when we execute this, you can see we have the return as the same list but in the opposite order. So that's how the reverse parameter works. Now let's try to understand how we use the key function or the key parameter in the sorted function. Now of course, if we want to sort something based on some key that we want to define, we use the key parameter. So let's take an example now. So in this example, what we have done is I've defined this function called take second. So what this does is it simply takes the second element of a list of tuples. So what is this list of tuples? Well, this is random. You can see this random. This is a list of tuples. So this is one tuple, this is the next tuple. And what I'm going to do is, in this example, I'm going to create a key out of every second element in each tuple. So I'm going to create a key out of 20, 40, 10, and 13, and based on these in an ascending order, I will sort this whole list. So what my result should be is that since the smallest of the every second object in these tuples is 10, so this will be my first object in my sorted list. Then it should be the one with 13, because this is the next highest number. So then this will be the next object. Similarly, this will be the next object, then this will be the whole next object. So you see, I'm using every second element of the tuple as my key, and for that, to create a key, basically I'm creating this function which will basically return every it'll iterate through all of these, and it will return each of these second elements. So let's actually do this now. So what I have here is, I am going to create a sorted list which is going to use a sorted function on this iterable, which is a bunch, which is a list of tuples. It's called random. Now my key is going to be take second. So this sorted function is actually very dynamic in the sense I don't exactly have to create a list directly, each of these objects present in the tuples. I just have to define I can even pass a function in the parameter for key, and it will apply this function on the iterable that we pass over here, which is random namely, and it will use this function to generate keys, generate a key out of each second element, and based on that it will do the sorted, it will perform the sorted function. So now if I check what's my sorted list, you will see that, as I had mentioned, now it's using the second object, so the second each second object of the tuple as the key. So since 10 is the smallest, this whole object is the first object, then 13, so we have this object here, and then so on and so forth. So this is how we've used a key to do the sorting function, a key that we've defined on our own. Now similarly, we can use multiple keys as well. So just to quickly go over through this, we have this some list where a bunch of names, a bunch of tuples you can see, right? Tuples with 3 objects each within it. Each first one is always a string denoting someone's name, some student's name. The second is the marks out of 100, and the third is their age. So what we have here is, what we want to do is we want to sort these tuples in the order of first marks, and in case the marks are clashing or they are the same, basically, we will sort by the age. So what we want to do is we want to first sort by these marks, as you can see here. But in case they clash, for example, like say this 75 and 75, they're the same marks. In that case, we want to sort it by the age, which is 12 and 20, which is different. So in this case, we're going to use 2 keys. One for the first key will be given the highest priority, and then if there is a clash, then we use the second key. So how do we do this? Now let's define some function, like how we defined this take second function here. This will be our function that we will pass to the key. This function, basically what it does is it gives us who has the highest marks. Now since we are creating since the key works in an ascending order, so the smallest object in a key is the first object that gets returned, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to return the error, which is basically the difference between 100, which is the total marks, and the marks the student gets. So this is how we obtain a ascending order in our list, which is what we, which basically is what we want, because we want the highest marks to be first. So we do 100 minus item 1. Item 1 is basically the first object of whatever iterable we pass. In this case, it would be the first objects of each tuple, which is the marks. Secondly, we want age. Age is the item 2, which is each second object of each tuple. Now, what we return in this function is like this is going to be our key now. A list of errors and the list of age. Error being the marks error, the difference between 100 and the marks you obtain. So now what it's going to do is it's going to take the marks as the first key and the age as the second key when we pass this to a sorting function. So if you skip this, you don't have to look at this, but if you look at this now, we have the sorted list, which is going to be the result of the sorted function on top of what we pass, which is the participant list. Now we're going to use the key. We're going to use the key as the sorter function. So we're going to use the sorter function as a key, and when we print, if you see, we get, let me just execute all of this. So if you see here in this section, what you can see is we have the highest marks first, then the second, then the third. But if you see here, there's a clash. This guy and this guy have the same marks, 75. So now what we want to do is the guy who has the younger age should be in the first in the object. So that is how this has happened, because we've passed 2 keys, error and the age. So when the clash in error key happened, we went to the age key, and then we did ascending order on that. And then finally the rest of the objects that you can see here. So now that we have seen how the sorted function works, now let's look at how the lambda function works using this sorted function, which was the main goal of this video, right? So let's see. So now some of you might have figured out where this lambda function will be used, right? So whenever we were using the key in the sorted function, we had to define a function, and then we would pass that function as the key. So as some of you may have figured this out, what we're going to do using the lambda function is we're going to skip that process of defining a function with a new name and all that, and we're going to pass a lambda function, or we're going to use a lambda function as the key. So let's see how we do it. So initially what we've done is we've created this list. This list is a list of dictionaries that you can see. So this first object is a dictionary, second object is a dictionary. Each dictionary contains 2 keys, the name and the age. And the values are something like Nandini, the values for age is like 20, 20 and 19. So we have 3 dictionaries in a list. So what we're going to do is we want to print, what we want to do with this, we want to print these objects or these dictionaries in an ascending order of age. So we want this to be first, and then this and this, because 19 is smaller than 20. So let's see how we do this. So if you go here, what we're going to do is we're going to print the sorted function, or the result of the sorted function being applied on this list. So this is our iterable. Now if you see here in the key parameter, we don't predefine a function and pass it over here. Instead we use the lambda, and this lambda function is defined in such a way. So we say lambda, it will take one argument I, and then it will return basically the age index for some I, and this I is, we're going to presume an I to be some sort of an iterable, which has an index called age, and which is the case in our case, right? We have a bunch of dictionaries where there is a key in each of these dictionaries called age. So we're going to use that. And now you're going to ask, like, what is I? Well, when we use the lambda function in the sorted function, this I will basically be each object that we get when we iterate upon this list. So we're going to iterate first on this. So it's going to take this dictionary and it's going to search for the age. Then it's going to take this, it's going to search for the age. Then it's going to take this and it's going to search for the age. And each of the time it will pull out what is the value for each of these age keywords or these age indexes or age keys. And out of these objects, so 20, 20 and 19, or these values, we're going to create a key with which we're going to sort each object in this whole list. Okay, so this is how the lambda function will work here. So let's do it. So as you can see, our sorted list now contains this object first, because 19 is the smallest age, and then this and this. Now you might see that there are two 20s. So how do we control which one comes first? Well, by default, it will just give us the result in the way we passed it in the original list. So since Nandini came before Manjeet, in the result also Nandini will come before Manjeet. But what if we wanted to sort it even more? What if we want to sort it in such a way that first we go by age, and the second key will tell us that if there is a clash in ages, we have to go alphabetically by the name. So in this case, we will create a second key. And how we do that? Well, if you go to this step, over here what we're doing is, we're doing the same sorted function, but now the lambda will again take one parameter, which is I, which is going to be each object in this iterable list, and we're going to take two keys. So the first key will be the age key, and the second key will be the name. So it will first sort on age and then on name. So now if you see, the result should be that Manjeet will come before Nandini, even though the ages are 20, because M comes before N in the alphabet. As you can see, this is the result. Now if we wanted to do the same thing, but in a descending order, all we have to do is, after this key parameter, we have to give another parameter called reverse, and we have to give it true. So if we did this, now you see this or if we do it on this one to be more clear. Now if I execute this, basically this whole whatever result we get will be backwards now. Oh wait, I did not enter it in the sorted function. So this should come within the sorted function over here. So now if we execute this, you will see Nandini comes first, Manjeet comes second, and then Nikhil comes third, because we've done the reverse. We use the reverse keyword as true, reverse parameter as true. So this was a brief lesson on lambda functions. I hope you understood or appreciated the way we use lambda functions in Python and the situations that we use it in. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, you learned something from this video. Do share with your friends the news about this channel and the content. We hope to reach for more learners, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.